person to follow on X, is responsible for clipping this for us today. Thank you, sir. And here is what JB Pritzker had to say.
It's a massive effort to distract from what they are doing across the country, to take away things that working class, middle class people, families, the most vulnerable really need. Maybe they, as they come and try to attack the state of Illinois, and that's what they're doing. The lawsuits are against laws on the books in Illinois. Unlike Donald Trump, we follow the law. Now, maybe they put up with this kind of garbage in Florida, which is the home state of the head of the DOJ. But in Illinois, we have grit. We are tough. We are strong. And Donald Trump has no idea what he's up against when he attacks Illinois.
All right.
So we're here. We're going to stay here. We're going to keep fighting for lowering costs on people, on building up jobs, on, holding back the tariffs, whatever we can do to make this a great state. We're going to continue to do, despite what they may be doing to attack working families across our state.
They're not attacking working families. They're going after people who've broken the law and are in the country illegally. They're making the lives of other American citizen working families more difficult. So JB Pritzker, Portland, Oregon, and the rest of them, they stand fast and oppose Trump and Pam Bondi. But of course, we're going to keep our eye on this case. Thanks for subscribing and joining me as we do. All right, so now let's turn our attention to what's happening with the USAID, because this has just been a joyous occasion. A beautiful sight to see. USAID and their sign going bye-bye being pulled down today by this American hero perched atop the construction crane and removing each letter one by one in beautiful fashion. Here is this remarkable scene from today. I was going to call it a scissor lift, but it's not. What is it called? It's like a mover? I don't know what it's called. All right, so anyways, awesome job. That guy, the best guy in America today. And I hope he's celebrating.
Thank you.
Now, they're fighting.
Sitting home.
Okay, so as the sign is coming down,
quick stop.
going bananas.
Yes.
Happening now, said Kyle.
Adult beverages.
Reporting over from Politico, who may or may not be state media. Lawyers for the government say at the end of the day, 2,200 USAID employees will be placed on paid leave. 500 are already on leave. 600 will be kept on. Lawyers for USAID workers say that this essentially means employees will, within hours, be cut off from government systems, including people in war-ravaged areas who rely on security updates. It will also imperil partner organizations who depend on those workers. And yes, we know everyone's going to die. Grandmas are going to drop out of the sky. It's going to be horrible. A boom lift, a cherry picker, and a victory crane. All great answers. Yeah, I'm sure one of those is right. A freedom lift. I'm mad at myself that I didn't think of that. All right, so that was happening. Now, there's also a lawsuit that is currently underway. You can see Judge Carl Nichols called a 3 p.m. hearing today, and they're suing to, I guess, put the sign back on because they really want their money. Let me show you what is happening. This got filed yesterday, and we'll check the docket and see what the latest is, which I have there. Now, here is the lawsuit. Okay, put our sign back on. Give us our corrupt money. Here's the lawsuit. American Foreign Service Association suing, along with the American Federation Government of Employees, okay, so like two groups of employees unions, says State Department, USAID's listed here, Treasury Department, and Marco Rubio all listed as defendants, along with Treasury Scott Bessent. Here's what these babies say. Okay, Your Honor, and this is filed in D.C., so we've got to be cautious, right? D.C. They say, all right,
Yeah, Z.
this action seeks to
I'm doing all right. Just tired. Been a very, very busy week.
any legal actions taken
But
by Trump that
we
have
made it.
systematically dismantled
Made it to the end.
USAID. We're going to enjoy this one. Now, these actions have generated a global humanitarian crisis, I'm sure, by abruptly halting the crucial work of USAID
It is pretty.
employees, grantees, and contractors, which is like 9 out of 10 media
Wish I could-
companies in Ukraine.
My windshield was cleaner, so you can see
They
it
have
better when
lost
I'm heading
thousands
that
of
way.
American jobs and have imperiled national security interests. Very dramatic. Now, the first of these
Supposed
actions
to be every other car,
on
asshole.
January 20th, when Trump, President Punks, issued an executive order titled "Eliminating."
Oh
Whatever.
yeah. Without the lines, I'm not all that excited about it.
There was a clause in the official order. This is reevaluating and realigning U.S. foreign and United States Foreign Development Assistance says the State Department and Rubio directed the immediate issuance of stop work orders on all foreign assistance awards. USAID grantees and contractors reeled as they were without notice or process, constrained from carrying out their work, alleviating poverty, of like what, Democrats, disease, and humanitarian crises. Rubio subsequently was named as acting director of USAID and said there's going to be a reorganization of this.
Well, there's no reason to be concerned.
Now, shortly after
Super busy.
over 1,000 contractors and thousands more employees were laid off or furloughed. The humanitarian consequences of Trump's actions
It's watching the Watchers, Robert Govea. Watch them all the
USAID
time.
provides life-saving food like lobster and crab cakes and medicine like abortion pills and supports hundreds of thousands of people across the world like journalists at the BBC. Now, without agency partners to implement this mission, U.S.-led medical clinics, aka trans chop shops, soup kitchens with lobster bisque, and refugee assistance programs for when you're just completely stressed out at work and you just have to go to a beach or something, and DC is just really worried about, you just have to go to the homeless and everybody can do that. USA will pay for it as long as you work on James Congress. And countless other programs shudder to an immediate halt.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Unbelievable. Days ago, Musk and other members of the DOGE, they call it the so-called DOGE Committee. It is. That's the official title. It was renamed in executive order. Gutted what remained of the agency. Members of DOGE reportedly demanded access to classified systems without requisite security clearances. And where's your footnote on that one? Yeah, where's your footnote on that one? USAID security officials who attempted to block them were placed on administrative leave. So that's footnote 40. So I guess that has the Margaret Wright for it. 2 security officials placed on leave, sources say, because they reportedly tried to access things from them. Now, Musk posted on February 3rd, and it was a great post, that they're feeding the USAID into the wood chipper. And that same day, the headquarters shut down. More than 1,000 employees, including some in war zones, were locked out of their computer accounts. The government website now indicates that all direct hire personnel will be placed on leave globally. Not a single one of Trump's actions to dismantle USAID were taken pursuant to congressional authorization. He needed to talk to Pelosi about it. And pursuant to federal statute, Congress is the only entity that may lawfully dismantle the agency. And again, this executive order is not dismantling it, it's reorganizing. It still exists. There's 293 people there, or whatever the number is. Those 300 people, you know how many people that is? The full airplane. It's still there. It's still USAID. They don't need the building anymore. It's still around. Now, given the severe ongoing harms suffered by us and Trump's intent to inflict imminent future harm, it's like he's not attacking them. He's ending a wrecked program. Plaintiffs now filed this complaint. We're going to see the temporary restraining order. to stop Trump, to reverse these unlawful actions, and to halt any further steps to dissolve the agency until the court has an opportunity to consider the issues on the merits. Now, you're going to see a lot of this really quick. The floodgates are open with lawsuits. And they're all done to delay. Like, they don't want Trump to take the signs off the buildings. So just pause. Like, we're just begging for a pause. Like, we don't even know if we have the right to do it, but just let us fully consider the issues. Like, that's it. Just give us some time. We're trying to stall the momentum. Now, we know who these people are, and they're going to give us their legal framework here, and they're going to tell us that USAID was supposed to be an independent agency, and the president could reorganize this, but he had 60 days to do it. And then Clinton said, I'm not going to make it under the State Department. And then the Congress has reappropriated funds for them all the time. And they've said that in these appropriation acts, the president cannot, right, explicitly restricted the ability to reorganize USAID. And you can't do that because we said you can. The Appropriations Act defined reorganization or even downsizing, right? So you can't even buy your anybody or your Congress. You can't downsize this. You can't eliminate, you can't consolidate, you can't do anything. Signed by Congress. The Appropriations Act imposes notification requirements as well. And he's got to notify us all. Now, Trump's DOJ has been accountable and said that's not what any of this says. And the president has Article 2 powers to execute the law, and that stuff like this, we're going to have this battle is going to come up definitely this term about the true separation of powers and what can Congress ultimately mandate that the president do? Like, does he have to check the doors are locked every night before he goes to bed, kind of a thing? Like, how minute and granular.
How often do they have to do that? It seems like they're doing that constantly, man.
Because they're saying you can't redesign, you can't reorganize, you can't do anything, essentially, right? This restructuring, you're prohibited from doing anything. Now, other spineless presidents have just said, Congress said I can't do it. But it's a co-equal branch of government. And the president has a big responsibility to take care of the United States. And so here's what they're saying. Here's the factual allegations. Money was frozen. We know that. And by the way, it's only a 90-day period, okay? So relax, you guys. I don't know what they're so freaked out about, okay? It's 90 days to slow the spread of corruption. It's only going to be 90 days. We're going to give you back your businesses and your livelihoods, and we're not going to make you put anything in your bodies or anything. All your freedoms are going to be restored. Just after 90 days, just after this little investigatory period, we're all in this together. Okay? I have to save America. We're all in this together. So just take 90 days off. Everything will be fine. And we're not even going to shove the syringes in your face. How about that? So 90 days. 4 days later, then Rubio directed his staff to halt funds. And the following day, stop work orders went out everywhere. People started dying. Defendants then begun purging agency employees. Like 65 senior career staff were put on leave on January 26th. By January 29th, hundreds of contractors fired, laid off. William Malyeska, top HR person, reportedly refused the directive to put thousands more on staff on leave. He's like, I'm not firing them. No, I'm going to put. He's fired too. So as a result of this, everyone's done. Okay, HIV is spreading everywhere. Humanitarian options.
I'm glad. I'm happy for you, bud. Make sure I get the forwarding address.
Starving, already dying. Toddlers are dead, deprived of rehydration salts. They got diarrhea. Oh no, diarrhea. Doctors at funded medical facilities are treating malnourished children. They're going to die too, all because Democratic grid is coming to an end. Yes, we know. As chaos engulfed the agency, State Department issued 2 waivers to its halt. He said, actually, we're going to waive life-saving humanitarian assistance. So go feed the kids and don't let the people die. Okay, so how about that? There you go. Poor life-saving medicine and other things, but it's going to be temporary. So find other sources. And second, They then announced a limited waiver of the HIV stuff. Oh, so they're not actually going to be dying of AIDS in Africa. But they say these waivers offer little to no relief for USAID partners, though, who suffer from their freezes in money. So some people are still getting funded, even according to their own lawsuit, but not their BFFs. They were not self-executing, so contractors scrambled to reach out. But because agency staff have suffered severe cuts, nobody knows where to get their money. The agency's dissolved. Not really. I mean, it's still there. There's almost 300 people there. But the remaining functions were halted. On February 1st, Elon and Doge, so-called, it's their official name, very, very reportedly demanded access again to that story. Now, that same day, USAID was taken offline. By Sunday, contract personnel began reporting they were locked out of their emails. They were fired. Eventually, more than 1,000 employees, including some in war zones, were completely locked, which in Ukraine, right? All of them in Ukraine, probably. We saw the report from Reporters Without Borders, posted by WikiLeaks, explaining that there were 9 out of 10 media companies in Ukraine getting USAID funds. Were completely locked out of their computer accounts. On information and belief, most, if not all, received no prior notice that they would be losing access. Womp womp. Those agency staff were still receiving emails, we're told, that the building the email directed that any replies be sent to Gavin Kligger, a special advisor to Doge.
Is that big balls?
That's what a great job that would be too. He's just getting like 1,000 emails from a bunch of screeching liberals. I can't get my watercolors for tomorrow. According to reports, members of Doge also got access by Monday. USAID, the world's premier humanitarian assistance and international development agency, was in complete disarray. Musk stated that he had spent the previous weekend feeding USAID into the wood chipper. They're so mad about that. It's repeated. He also claimed, with regards to the USAID stuff, I went over it with Trump in detail. He agreed we would shut it down. So they say, oh, you can't shut it down. Consistent with Trump's efforts to shut down the agency. I think it shut down. I think he meant that kind of colloquially, right? Like, oh, we're shutting it. It's going to be like 300 people. That's it. Consistent with this, Trump appointed Rubio. He became acting administrator. Rubio sent a letter.
You get gas and then I'm going to stop at the store.
You're on notice. We're done. We're going to initiate consultations. We're going to decide who's actually getting the real money here. Rubio said,
were you watching those reports of them talking about them on CNN? That's so fucking hilarious.
But they say it's too late. The USAID has already been substantially dismantled. It has no independent.
Wispy clouds, huh?
Rubio has assumed the mantle of acting director and delegated it out. U.S. lawmakers concerned about the dissolution of the agency were reportedly blocked from entering by staff. Said you guys should contact the State Department. On Tuesday, Trump told a reporter, I think so, he was going to wind down USAID. Then the State Department ordered the shutdown of all overseas missions. The same day, the State Department placed thousands of employees on leave, directing them, don't enter the premises. Access to your systems.
Well, they already fucking killed them. They killed 100 million of them.
Anyway, is not allowed. Throughout the week, workforce members reported that key portions of the infrastructure was inaccessible.
Biden had it done right before he left office.
Phoenix,
so it would take a while to lower the price of eggs.
Oh, no. They're all logging into their portal to submit full invoices and getting declined. So they say this is disastrous. Among countless other consequences of Trump's halting, work has shut down efforts to prevent children from dying. It's kids. Stopped pharmaceutical clinical trials. Tried for Pfizer. And threaten or Bill Gates, right? Yeah, why don't he can fund it? And threaten a global resurgence in HIV. Yeah. Deaths are inevitable. 300 babies would not, oh my gosh. Already, 300 babies that would not have had HIV now do. Donald Trump gave 300 babies HIV. Can you believe this? So did Marco Rubio. and Scott Bassett. And now 303 babies have HIV thanks to them. And 304. Unbelievable. We're contributing to this, all of us. Thousands of girls and women will die from pregnancy and childbirth. Without judicial intervention, Judge, it's only going to get worse. The actions that Trump intends to take today will doom billions of dollars in projects in 120 countries. Yes, we know. Including security assistance, there it is, development for clean water, job training, and education for Taliban schoolgirls in Afghanistan. This is horrific. The injury is going to be worldwide. And these people, they say, we save the planet. They think that's just how they think of themselves. Like they think of themselves like gods. Like we're saving. I'm sure
Yeah,
there are some people who do good work.
It's always nice to hear, man.
This is not the VFW, not anymore. Plaintiff AFSA exists to support these values, blah, blah, blah. We do a lot of work. We're incredible people. We're like gods. We save babies and stop deaths. We've got, look, largest federal union in the nation. 800,000 federal civilian employees work with a lot less. Says our members are going to be irreparably harmed. We get lots of money off this grid. We've been shut out of computer systems. We can't even recoup our reimbursements or access our health benefits, of course. So what do they want? They say this is a violation of separation of powers. Wow, they're saying, oh, Trump is violating the separation of powers. Okay. Saying, and yeah, USAID was created by statute. Trump is trying to resolve this. It exceeds his
It's created by executive
it has to
order.
do exactly what we say, and we're going to suffer injury if he's not stopped. The public interest favors this because of life-saving humanitarian work performed throughout the world. Again, this is America. Okay, we care about America. The rest of the world has an opportunity now to figure out these solutions on their own, and the American grift is over. By USAID and its contractors, it caused thousands of Americans to lose their jobs, thousands of Democrats in D.C. rephrased. Now, here's what they say. Plaintiffs restate and reallege all paragraphs above, as set forth here. And I wanted to point this out because some people do this. They say, Article 2 of the Constitution confers upon the president the duty to take care. But as you saw in that prior lawsuit, the word in the Constitution, care, is capitalized. It matters that that is capitalized. It's care. It's not like you just take whatever Congress hands to you and you just do it like a stupid Democrat automaton like Joe Biden. You sign your stuff and everybody else handles it. You have to take care. You have to exercise some care. What does that mean? If Congress is telling you to do something that is unconstitutional or not under the care of the United States,
Some pizza.
do that thing. Have some discretion in this. It's take care that the laws be faithfully executed. You don't just do whatever the hell Congress tells you to do without questioning it. Okay, otherwise Congress is the executive branch. Now, this is subject to litigation, and I'm totally open to the opportunity and possibility that Trump makes these arguments and the courts come in and say, you lose. You actually have to do this thing, execute the law according to how it's prescribed by the legislature. But that pushback by the executive branch against the legislature to say, your interpretation of what the law says is one thing, my interpretation is a different thing. So you don't get to tell us, this is the executive branch speaking, Congress, that we're going to do things exactly according to your prescription. We can interpret what you're saying and execute it accordingly to actually take care. And they know that it's a capital C, whoever wrote this, but they're just being dishonest here. It's like take care, like just take, whatever, it doesn't mean anything. It matters. And when there's a disagreement there, when the legislature says, you have to have USAID, fund whatever trans all over the world, the executive says, that's not actually what the law says, and I don't have to do that. The courts come in and say what the law is. It's how it works. Its process is great. I'm thrilled we're having this conversation, because what has been happening for far too long is they have been playing patty cake back and forth. Congress says, take all the money in the world. Executive says, great, we'll create USAID. Congress can ransack it and grift off of it for years, and everybody looks the other way because the skids are being greased. And enough. So how about the strong executive now says, no, actually, no, you guys can prove it in a court of law, like is happening right now, that we have to fund these things. And the Congress can look at all of this, the courts can look at all of this and say, yeah, he has discretion in these areas, and the executive branch, generally speaking, has broad discretion over the execution of the law, because that's their job, and battle it out accordingly. And we're going to win some, we're going to lose some. Congress will respond, but let's do it. Now, the take care clause, right? So they're being dishonest when you see that. The take care clause is judicially enforceable against presidential actions, and Trump's actions violate that because there are statutes establishing the USAID, and he can't act in contravention to the statute. Again, Congress has their opinion on what the statute says. Trump has his opinion, and the executive is now pushing back on Congress for the first time ever, and they're freaked out about it. They say their unilateral dissolution, it's not been dissolved yet, violates the statutory limitation. Again, it's not been dissolved, it's still in existence. So count 4 says, and again, this is the APA Act, Administrative Procedure Act, and they dropped Trump from this, as you'll notice, against everybody else except Trump, because he's the president and he's not an agency, so he can make decisions. So they conveniently left him out of that. Under the APA, a court shall hold unlawful and set aside agency action if it's arbitrary and capricious, an abuse of discretion, or otherwise not in accordance with law. So Rubio, Bissett, and all of them, they're acting arbitrarily and capriciously, and they didn't give the people who are being fired notice, and it's a violation of their rights. And first of all, they're all on leave. They're all still getting paid. They don't have access to their grift anymore, but it's a pause, right? They're all being, as we just saw reported by Kyle Cheney, they're on leave. 500 are already on leave. 2,200 more will be on leave. So they're not even fired yet. So what is the actual harm? Saying they're acting capricious and arbitrarily. I don't think so. This is really funny what the DOJ says in this. So they're declaring they want
Hey, Murphys, T-Hound.
Shutdown of USAID and turn on the grift, turn on the online portal so that everybody can log in and just get their checks cleared. Issue a temporary restraining order. Cease actions to shut down the operations. Reopen the buildings, restore all computer systems and web pages, appoint independent acting director of USAID. Wow. They want the court to appoint someone to manage the agency and turn it back on. They are so pathetic. These are your government employee unions who are representing the government employees saying, put our systems back on. Restore funding for all.
Well, I guess they don't have to stop at the store because they had what I needed here. They usually don't have that
anyone else on leave
available, but they did today.
Recall anybody who was on furlough.
My wife is liking those Carb Bliss. Oh, geez, dude.
Turn on the floodgates. We want our money. And issue a permanent injunction barring executive agencies from dissolving the USAID absent authorization of Congress. We want attorney's fees too. Signed by Lauren Bateman and Caitlin Golden and all these other attorneys at this firm throwing their name on this one. So counsels for the plaintiffs submit this to try to stop the elimination of the biggest grift that the Democrats have ever lost in their lives. But the building has now been unburdened by what has been. Doge on X shared these two final images. U.S. Agency for International Development and Democratic Grift, now deleted. Goodbye. Elon said the building is now occupied by Border Patrol, which is going to be a much better use of it. And of course, here was one more video.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
The sign coming down.
I normally don't like those vodka-based ones,
And they
but
put duct tape over the actual name on the sign.
she likes them because there's hardly no carbs, and they got flavors. First time I've seen the multi-flavor pack. So,
Shout out
oh,
to
wow.
that guy, Cherry
See that
Flavor guy.
Cybertruck? Thought somebody got one
Shout out
around
to
here
Boomer's
recently.
guy, Freedom Lift guy. Freedom. All right, so we let that play a couple times because it was so enjoyable. But here is Democrats that they're going over to other agencies like the Department of Education, Pentagon, Department of Labor, and more. So this senator called Ed Markey, who is from Massachusetts, says we were just denied entrance into the EPA now after asking to meet with a DOJ representative. More to come. So they tried to break into the EPA and surrender. And this American hero says, get out. You're not authorized. I don't care if you're a senator from Massachusetts or wherever. You're not coming in. So then they went out over to this guy, and then he clipped this one. Said Waters and other Democrat members of Congress then tried to break into the Department of Education. Fox News was there with cameras recording.
Do they know the rights?
Were you told, are you making this decision to stand in front of the store on your own behalf, on behalf of the Department of Education, or were you told to come out here and block members of Congress and light the desk?
So everybody's, what is that?
We're doing our jobs.
Trying to explain.
Were you told to stand here, or did you decide to stand here and block members of Congress from having access
To now, well, you said that you're not members of the house. So a private security contractor.
You know, members
Blocking members of Congress.
maybe you don't understand. You
A private security contractor is making the decision to block members of Congress from a public access entrance.
I don't think he knows.
You have the authority as a private security contractor to block members of Congress. That has been knighted and granted to you.
You have to let us go to the desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the THC ones, but I got to make it up to Michigan and get some.
You understand?
I was going to get a haircut yesterday, but a good friend of mine lost an old-time friend of his, so I hung out, canceled my haircut, and went and hung out with him for a while. That's why I was so tired today. I threw back a few bourbons.
You secured this building against who?
Members of Congress.
Who are you protecting?
Full transparency of this administration. The administration that talked about they're going to open the doors to all of these things and show the American public what is going on. They haven't even opened the door to this building, the members of Congress. Are they proposing any threat here? We are not dangerous people. We have not done let us start trying to request a meeting, and they have a private security contractor who on his own is making decisions on behalf of the Department of Education. We are members of Congress.
They allow billionaires and his minions to come in.
I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is, but I know who I am. And I'm a member of Congress with responsibilities trying to
Don't you know who I am?
and a private security contractor is not allowing me to enter the building.
But not, there's a lack of transparency here. Members of Congress, the people represent are not allowed in. This is not transparent.
Not letting us in, not the Department of Homeland Security. We are members of Congress.
Get out.
The Department of Education, and they're treating it.
Kids deserve to have a
Yeah,
go in
absolutely.
right there.
Yeah, the kids.
Children of the country deserve.
Yeah.
Institution. This is not Russia. We are members of Congress. Come in. They're blocking us. See this man here, who a federal employee. Maybe federal employee.
Yes.
No, he said he's a federal employee. We pay him to take money to make sure that we have a Department of Education.
You don't raise money, you steal money for it.
Education on here because we pay for them to
You don't pay for shit. You steal our money. Give it to them. For the dumbest kids on the planet. The dumbest country on the planet.
Well, I think it should be like parents in the United States. Now, if you want to advocate on behalf of your children, you are not allowed to come into this building where you pay taxes. Parents who have children who are disabled. Access is being blocked. You voted for members of Congress who take on behalf of your children with disabilities, for young women who have been victims of sexual assault in our classrooms, on our school grounds. Members of OCR are fighting for young children. We are in the building to talk to them. We are not.
No, you just want to make a spectacle.
Yeah, we got it. All right, yeah, we got it. So that's what the Democrats are up to. Goodness. So that poor guy should be awarded some sort of medal, a big one, something for, courage under fire, whatever. Hopefully he is celebrating tonight for surviving a Democrat insurrection. So shout out to him for holding the line. Here's another angle of that and the lecture from this angle.
Are you prepared to stand here all night if we decide to stay?
Yeah.
All right, well, you can stay right there.
All right.
You can stay and stay.
Why are you letting us go to that desk like we were able to do last year?
He's not a U.S. employee.
This is a public institution.
Must hire him.
Are you working? Are you equally?
Yeah, I guess I'll stand here all night.
We trying to.
He is a federal employee. Yes, I'm a federal employee, you weird psycho Democrats. Get out of my face. Look at him right there. It's like that Ben Affleck meme. He's like, oh my gosh. All these people. You're not allowed in. I don't care if you're a congressperson or not. Get out. All right, here's the president talking about USAID. He got asked about this today when he was hanging out with the Prime Minister of Japan called Shigeru Ishiba. And this is what it sounded like.
Is Time Magazine still in business? I didn't even know that. Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste. You see it with the USAID, but you're going to see it even more so with other agencies and other parts of government. He's got a staff that's fantastic. He's wanted to be able to do this.
No, I didn't, Teresa. That's awesome.
It was existent, but I think never so much when you look at USAID.
One hell of a man, I think. I'd love to be able to meet him.
Fraud. The whole thing is a fraud. Very little being put to good use. Every single line that I look at in terms of events and transactions is either corrupt or ridiculous. And we're going to be doing that throughout government. And I think we're going to be very close to balancing budgets for the first time in many years. I think we're going to be very close to, in addition to monies coming in from tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. But he's doing a very good job. I'm very happy with it.
When you got Elon Musk up on the podium for us to ask him some questions.
Bring Elon in. We want to talk to him. Yeah, who doesn't? All right, so here's JD Vance now dunking on Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna is responding to JD Vance, and they're bringing back Big Balls. I think is coming back in the House, and we're looking forward to that. You may have caught that story. We talked a lot about Big Balls today on the members only stream this morning. I know that sounds weird, but he was a young kid. Wait, what? That makes it sound worse. So there was a Big Ball story, and he resigned, and now he's coming back because they were old posts when he was a kid. JD said, look, here's my view. I obviously disagree with some of Elez's posts, but I don't think stupid social media activity should ruin a kid's life. We shouldn't reward journalists who try to destroy people ever. So I say bring him back. If he's a bad dude or a terrible member of his team, okay, fire him for that. Don't fire him for his social media name, Mr. Big Balls. Now, that obviously is something that has come up multiple times. Where was I clicking through to? Apologies for all these tab changes here. That's right. JD Vance went back, and then Ro Khanna said this. Are you going to tell him to apologize for saying normalize Indian hate before this rehire. Just asking for the sake of both of our kids, says Ro Khanna. Right? Very dramatic. Like kids are going to be murdered. J.D. Vance said, for the sake of both of our kids, grow up, bro. Racist trolls on the internet, while offensive, don't threaten my kids. You know what does? A culture.
Yeah, I'm home.
People who make mistakes.
Probably got to do some Green Springs tomorrow, so I'll probably fire it up tomorrow. Yeah, glad you guys. I hope you guys. If I don't, though, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.